Look, we've been talking to one another for quite a while now, and I feel it's time I told you something about me that may make you judge me. I'm a grammar nerd. They all mean different things. They are not interchangeable. It's kind of hard to admit that you're a grammar nerd because basically the entire internet hates us. They think that if you're obsessive about grammar, then you must be a snob or really boring, and neither of those things are true. We just know how to write proper, innit? I first realised I was a grammar nerd way back in the mists of time when text messaging was still quite a new thing. Back in those days, a text was very much like Twitter in as much as you only had a certain amount of characters in which to write your message. If you went over the character limit for sending a text, you would end up being charged for 2. Or if you're anything like me, 3 or 4 or even 5 messages because I'm wordy. Nobody wanted to be charged extra, so they tried to stay in the character limit and just send 1 text message. To do that, it meant that they would shorten words. So the word U became just the letter U, or the word C became just the letter C. You get my drift. Eventually this turned into a whole new language called text speak, in which the word with was spelled with, or the word that was spelled dat. Eventually, I found myself getting texts that I had to decode and translate before I could reply to them, and it was starting to hurt my eyes. At one point, I literally became convinced that everybody I knew was secretly a gangster rapper because that's what their text messages made them sound like. May, do you wanna go with me to that thing next week? I started to realise that it probably wasn't normal to have such a visceral reaction to text messages, and that's when I first accepted that I must be one heck of a grammar nerd. The thing is, people really don't like grammar nerds. They think that we trawl social media just looking to correct your grammar, and that's just not true. I mean, unless you're a troll as well as a grammar nerd. Actually, the complete opposite is true. Most of the time, grammar nerds like me spend our time reading social media whilst also biting the inside of our face so that we don't say anything about your second cousin once removed's Facebook status, which is just littered with errors. So we just sit on our hands and don't say anything. A lot of people think that grammar nerds are just being petty and that it doesn't really matter. I mean, your and your sound the same. Who cares which one you use? Me! I do! They mean different things! Your means something belonging to you. Your is a shortened version of you are. If you're confused as to which one you should be using in a sentence, simply try saying the sentence with the words you are in it to see if that makes sense. And then you should be able to work out whether you're using the right form. And maybe, just maybe, you'll stop making me want to claw my own eyes out. I remember having an argument with somebody online once, and it was nothing to do with grammar. I can't even remember what it was about. But they sent me a tweet that said, "You're pathetic." And all I wanted to do was tweet them back and say, "My pathetic what?" Oh man! Sick grammar burn! The thing is, grammar is important because sentences don't make sense if you don't use the right grammar. Case in point, should of. I can't even begin to tell you the hatred I have for those 2 words when they are put together wrongly. Breathe. I know that should have does sound like should of if you say it very quickly. That's because a lot of people put should and apostrophe VE to shorten the have. So it does sound like should've, which sounds a bit like should of, but it's not the same thing. And perhaps I should have thought about the anger issues I would get from talking about this subject. They have no business being paired together in that way. Should of doesn't make sense. grammar is important to me because words in general are important to me. I write a blog, I have 5 published books that you can go out and actually buy. Words are important to me, I can't help it. It's only natural in that case that I am a bit passionate about language. But I rarely ever correct anybody's grammar because I'm also not an ass. I mean, unless they're a racist. Oh my goodness, there are few things more satisfying than seeing a racist on Twitter who's being like, "You're not even British, get out of our country, they're all terrorists." And you get to go, "Oh, you know the country you're defending? You can't even use the language properly." Spoiler, racists are stupid. Look, I know I probably shouldn't get as wound up by grammar as I do, but I do, and I felt I needed to get this off my chest and share it with you guys, which I now have, and I do feel better for it. Please don't think that I am a boring snob. I'm not. I'm just a pleb who happens to be good at grammar. But hey, if you hate me for this video, please be aware that if you leave me a comment and it's nasty, you're gonna have to be sure it's spelled properly with all the apostrophes in the right place and using the correct form of your. Otherwise, I might mark it. No, you see, this person's tried to troll me, but they've used the wrong form of to, the wrong form of your, there's an apostrophe that doesn't need to be there. This is at best a D- insult. Please try harder. I'm going to go now into the world of hopefully good grammar, and remember to try and be less obsessive about it in future. I mean, my mum did confess to me this morning that she gets nervous when texting me in case she puts an apostrophe in the wrong place. So maybe I need to chill. If you enjoyed this video and you're also a grammar nerd maybe, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That will make me deeply happy, and maybe I'll forget the use of your and your being wrong so often in life. If you want to subscribe for more ramblings, then my floaty head will appear over there. You can watch last week's video, which is a visit to a farm called Dairyland, which is over here. The video, not the farm, it's not that small. And I'll talk to you next week. Take care everybody, bye!